Good morning, good afternoon, or good night to all of each and one of you. So it's Sama-chan again tonight. I just want to talk about a certain game or a certain aspect of a game, Monster Hunter Rise. And for the past few days, we have been receiving more info on the new Switch skills for the weapons. And I just want to talk about it. I'm a big Monster Hunter fan. Ever since, well, Monster Hunter World came out. You can say my very, very legit first Monster Hunter I've ever played. And I was hooked immensely. Oh my god, the amount of hours I put into that damn game. But that aside. So after I play World, and then the expansion, Monster Hunter World, Iceborne came out, also put so much hours in that. And then after that I went back to Generations Ultimate, played that, loved it to bits, and then back to Rise. It's like a back and forth. And then Rise came out, I played that, and we're here now. And I think we only have 2 weapons left that we haven't seen for the new Switch skills: dual blades and light bowgun. So I want to just discuss and nerd out tonight, and also just talking about like the weapons themselves and how it feels to use them, because I'm the type of person who uses mostly all of the weapons. I'm not sticking to one weapon for the entire game. That is just boring to me. It's a kind of playstyle, but I want to experience everything the game has to offer, so that's how I play. Now, let's talk about the weapons. So I'm in the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak official website, just looking around, and yeah, dual blades and light bowguns. It just says coming soon, so let's start. First, one of my favorite weapons is just because it's a big meaty sword. Great sword. Oh boy. The Switch skills it got. So first, Surge/Combo. An offensive style that combines speed with the weight of the weapon to unleash a stream of powerful slashes. Prefer footwork is I'm sleepy. Proper footwork is required, but allows for a large number of combos. So, Surge/Combo replaces the charge combo, or the charge slash. You hold your sword and you charge it, and then boom. If I remember, it replaces this. Well, what can I say? We don't know the motion values for this attack, and I'm just so used to the charge slash, so I don't know really, but how the moveset on how you swing your weapon and then you do a thrust at the end of the combo, it just looks so cool. And I need something that's more for great sword, something different than just charging and me doing meaty hits. I need something different, so we got this, and I can't wait to use it myself. Next, Strong Arm Stance. A technique that uses iron silk to reinforce both your arms and weapon temporarily to fend off attacks. If used while charging, you can quickly parry an attack and then unleash a fierce onslaught afterwards. This greatsword got a parry where, from the video I'm sure you've seen, you charge the weapon and then you just parry and then unleash the attack afterwards. you can hold the charge from what it looks like. Oh my god. Oh my god. This means pretty much true charge slash is back in the menu, boys. We can use that to deal massive damage while tanking a hit, sort of saying. So, just, oh boy, what can you say more? Oh, great sword. Ah, my god. Probably my second used weapon. Most used weapon in Rise right now is the great sword, just because of the meaty hits. I love you, great sword. I just love you. Next, this. Let's talk about sword and shield. Also, I've used a lot in Rise, not a lot in Iceborne nor World. Now let's see. Twin blade combo. This changes your normal X combo if you're playing on the Switch. The X combo, just you press rapidly. You press X rapidly and you do some attacks, right? First is the sword hits, and then you smack with the shield, and then your sword. That changes the combo and makes it just, it does the oh my god, I don't know how to say it. That X combo becomes just the sword and no shield. You just smack with the shield. So let's read. A two-part attack that opens with a circular slash and follows up with a blade thrust. An easy attack to get multiple hits in with. So ideal for weapons with high elemental and status properties. So yeah, it doesn't use the shield to attack during those combos. So having an elemental, or as it says here, status weapons is very good for dealing damage and status. So great. Also, Destroyer Oil uses a wire bug to cover your blade with a special ointment, which affects trigger if ignited by friction with your shield. It is oil, so yeah. While active monsters flinch more easily, creating more openings for attacks. This one, I think, replaces the Metsushoryu Geki and the windmill. So you apply this and then you swap to your Metsu or your windmill. This is, it says here, it'll flinch more easily, so will it have KO? Probably not. Probably it gives your sword and shield more exhaust, or it just gives your weapon exhaust, like the switch axe having exhaust file. Does it give it that effect? Maybe. If that's the case, then it might KO. And combining Destroyer Oil with Windmill is going to flinch the monster. Probably guaranteed flinch with the hits. I don't know. But yeah, I am a big and added sword and shield fan ever since I used it in Rise. So, hell yeah. Next, the weapons that I'm going to be talking about now, the weapons I think are kind of underwhelming in my opinion, but still has hope, is, let's go, hammer. In World, Iceborne hammer was really strong, and I used it a lot after I made some builds. It was amazing. But in Rise, it just didn't stick with me. I tried it multiple times, made different types of builds. It really didn't work for me, that is. It feels weird. It didn't click with me, like other weapons. So let's see here. So, spinning bludgeon charge, a technique that stores released power and funnels it into the next charge switch attack. Power is built up when performing a spinning bludgeon. The charge level is then maintained when executing a charge switch. Makes good use of this to unleash a series of level 3 charge attacks. This, I don't know, I only watched it like twice, and I don't, I'm not into hammer that much, so. But it says here you can combo level 3 charged attacks. A series of level 3 charged attacks. So yeah, if you combo it, it might deal a lot of damage. Yeah. And we have this one called Impact Burst. A silk attack that wraps your weapon in iron silk. For a short period of time, any charged attack performed causes the silk to vibrate, creating a shockwave that makes it easier to flinch monsters. Now, it's a buff. Good. The hammer does need a buff to that KO or flinching, because a lot of the weapons, air quotes, sword and shield, does it really well. It can flinch, it can KO monsters now. So it needs its identity back. It's the weapon that gave. It's the weapon that had stun. It was the only weapon that did, stun the monsters, and now every other weapon can. So it needs a buff, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm wishing the hammer, can get a buff. More like it, make it so that it KOs so much more better or so much faster than any other weapon. Iceborne, Rise, Sunbreak. So yeah, I hope it's gonna be much better. Next, another weapon that it feels underwhelming when I looked at the switch skills that got added, but still, we haven't tested it out ourselves, so we don't know yet. But from the looks of it, kind of disappointing and underwhelming. Alright, first, Charge Blade. File follow-up firing pin. This really did interest me, because they showed it in the video, but I never read the description on what it actually does. It looks like when you slap them, you're doing those, like, was it A button? They charged. Hit them twice and you charge up your files. It leaves like a little charge bubble or whatever on the monster, and when you hit it with your axe mode, it blows up. So let's read. A mechanism, so file follow-up firing pin. A mechanism that lowers the pressure of elemental energy generated through shield thrust during elemental boost, or by sword attacks while in sword boost mode. The elemental energy generated builds up on your target, but disappears over time. It can be detonated by any attack in axe mode, and extending the time limit of the elemental boost. So it leaves energy on the monster and eventually dissipate, but it can be it's pretty much mini bombs on the monster, elemental bombs, and when it detonates, it extends the time limit of the elemental boosts. Oh, this might completely maybe it might completely replace the double slash that it does. The double slash that it does, and replace it with file follow-up firing pin. I'm not really sure. Next, this one, Ready Stance. A silk bind maneuver that binds sword and axe together with iron silk. After guarding, a heavy knockback leaves you in sword mode, then lowers your guard reaction, so you'll be able to chain sword and axe attacks. If I remember, this replaces the counter peak performance, and I don't think counter peak performance will be replaced at all. Ready Stance will be used as a niche, in my opinion, but it looks like it says here, heavy. After guarding, a heavy knockback leaves you in sword mode and lowers your guard reaction, so you're able to chain sword and axe attacks. So if the knockback isn't that hard, you will stay in axe mode, which you can continue your, what was it, spinning, what would it call? I'll call it savage axe. You can continue doing that while also able to guard. Then that playstyle is improved significantly because I use evade extender to just roll and evade monsters because I can't guard with it, and if I do, I lose the spinning saw blade buff, so I have to reapply it. So this might be good for that playstyle, but any other than that, my imagination is not helping me, and I can't see this being widely used. We'll just see in the future. So those are the two, you can say, weapons that I just want to get buffed right now. Actually, there's one more, and it just came out recently, the video for the Switch skill. It is the lance. Let's take a look-see. Okay, so we have here shield tackle, a technique where you charge forward with your shield raised. You can also follow up with a variety of thrusting attacks. Watch for an opening and then unleash an unrelenting series of attacks. Shield tackle. If I remember, this replaces the shield charge and the charge attack, where you just hold your lance, you hold your shield and then your lance like this, and you keep charging and you keep hitting the monster with the lance. And the other one is the shield tackle, where you charge in and you will do an initial hit that does KO, and then you can smack the monster with your shield to do 2 attacks, and then it replaces it with this one. In my opinion, I think I'm going to be using this because I really love the poking attacks of the lance. It is this trademark. So this provides me a lot of opportunities for that while blocking. After blocking, I just do like the lunging attack that does multiple hits, or just keep poking it. This is a more complete offensive type of switch skill that I appreciate a lot. A minor changes, it's not, it's kind of underwhelming to the eye, but this can combo and just keep doing DPS. So yes, I love it. Next, skyward thrust. Let's read this. A technique where a wirebug launches you high into the air, thrusts your lance towards the heavens, and then pierce the earth. The falling portion of the attack inflicts multiple hits. Now, I think this replaces the spiral thrust, the spiral thrust, and anchor rage. I can't wait, but spiral thrust is the general meme of the lance. It's just the spiral thrust machine. But we'll see. We don't know the motion value of this attack, so if it's higher than that, maybe we're going to be using this instead of that. But yeah, the lance itself is not a particularly flashy weapon to use. It is more of in my image, a more defensive weapon that you can guard attacks and then you poke to counter them. So shield tackle for me really did it justice for that one, being defensive and offensive at the same time. So yeah, also, lance wasn't a big thing for me in Rise until recently. I came back to the weapon and I'm practicing with it right now, and what you can say, we'll see. I really am enjoying it right now, just going back to it after using it a lot in World Iceborne. But seeing these minor changes, with the switch skills, it's giving me hope for the lance, because the lance is, like, if I remember, the least used weapon in the game right now. Quite sad, but I can understand. It feels really weak. Your normal, poke, step, back step, poke attack is weak, and it just doesn't do a lot of damage compared to, Iceborne. It just feels like that. So I hope these changes will make it more fun to use and increase, and the skyward thrust really helps it for damage. So, it gets my hopes up. So these are the 3 weapons that was concerned that might not be, even with these new switch skills, they might not be used at all in the future. But so yeah, Charter Blade, Hammer, and Lance, these 3 is kind of the underdog, but I want them to rise up, if you will. No pun intended. And I hope the sunlight shines on these weapons because they're great. Not right now, but I hope they become great. Next, one of my main weapons that I use, Switch Axe. This baby, oh my god. First, the 2-staged, okay, this is hard to say, 2-staged morph / combo. It replaces the wild swing combo where you just keep smacking the switch axe and then you twirl around. If you do an input, it changes that to this one, which after you are smacking the monster, and then you press the button to do this attack, you do some slash in the air and then you do a slash backwards. You do an evade back while you're doing a slash. So it's defensive and also offensive at the same time. Cool, more variety. So let's read the full description. A 2-staged morph / attack that follows an axe wild swing. First stage morphs into sword mode. Second morphs into axe mode. During this combo, the power of sword mode attacks increase, and axe mode attacks file with switch gauge faster. Ooh, wait a minute. Let's read that again. During this combo, the power of sword mode attacks increased. The power of sword mode attack. I'm getting confused here for some reason. The power of sword mode attacks increase, and the axe mode attacks fill the switch gauge faster. Ooh, I see. Yeah, maybe this will replace the generic spin attack. But yeah, motion values and all that. I don't know how much damage this will do, but while you attack and then you move back for the last hit, I really like that. Next, elemental burst counter. Got a counter. Ooh. Compresses switch axe energy. Compresses switch gauge energy that can be released as an elemental burst. If the burst is released right as a monster attacks, you will perform a power finisher, and your switch axe will go into an amped state. Confirmation. Now, this is a game changer for switch axe because if you didn't know, in Rise, the power file was really hard to use because it did not fill up the amp gauge at all. It takes forever to go to amp state compared to I think the easiest one was poison file and was it exhaust file, and the second one that was the easiest was the elemental ones, and then the status one, the other status one, like paralysis. So, and power file took forever. So with this, power files are going to be probably at the top because it says you will immediately go to amp state, which just fills up the entire bar, and you can, deal more damage. this is just good for the weapon. Is this power file only? Is this power file going to be broken again? We'll see. But yeah, power files can be used now with this switch skill. Game changer for that type of file. So great. Yeah, and the counter, like how you counter, boom, after the counter hits, you just spin around, dealing damage, and that elemental explosion everywhere. It's just so cool. It's like, yeah, I play a lot of switch acts, so I'm happy that they got a counter. But some people prefer the switch acts to be played more offensively, and this kind of it's more defensive. But you can say he can still be very offensive. You just have to activate this burst counter, elemental burst counter, and then go full offensive. So you have immediate amp gauge or amp state. So yeah, I'm going to be using this hell of a lot. Love it. Now, let's see. My technically main weapon in the game, hunting horn. Let's go. So, when I heard that the hunting horn was getting a revamp, a complete change, it was time for me to use this weapon, because in Iceborne world, really, it was, for me, the hunting horn was really hard to use, and how many times I tried to use it, it just didn't click, But after the redesign of the weapon itself, and Rise, I tested it, I played it, and it was an instant hit. This is my baby throughout the village quests. This is going to be my main weapon. And I've used it throughout the village quests. I only used the hunting horn, and it was great. It was so fun, intense. Now, let's read the descriptions for these switch skills. Swing combo. A two-hit attack that can be delivered from either the left or right. I forgot what replaces this, but this thing is kind of like, reminds me of the, what was it called? When in World, when you play the melody, you flip, you swing with the weapon, and you move to the left or the right, depending on your left stick input or right stick input. I think your left stick, and then you play your melody. It's the same animation, but now it's just a normal combo, and you can just go from left to right, which is very good for positioning. So I don't know about the damage, but the positioning is very, very good. So yeah, positive. This allows you to quickly shift directions, making it useful for repositioning. Yeah, it does say that. Now, this one is why I think Hammer got, the hunting horn got it better than the Hammer. Is this one, Silkbind Shockwave. A Silkbind attack that wraps your weapon in iron silk. For a short period of time, any attack performed causes the silk to vibrate, creating a time-delayed shockwave that triggers additional hits. These additional hits do major stun, exhaust, and part damage. Damn it. So, which means one hit becomes two hits. And it says here, major stun, exhaust, and part damage. And it says here, any attack. So it says, any attack performed causes the silk to vibrate, dealing additional hits. They should have made that with the Hammer too. But yeah, I think hunting horn sounds like it's a better Hammer now, and I'm pretty sad about that. But we'll see. So I'm very excited for this because I can do more KO, more exhaust, and more flinches, aka, and then part damage, part breaking. Yes. So reading this really makes me sad for Hammer. Hammer mates, I'm sorry. I wish they made it better, but yeah. Next, we're going to finish up the remaining, sword master weapons, melee weapons. This insect glaive. This I'm really curious about. Okay, so let's go through this. Kinsect slash, a mid-air technique where you thrust forward with your glaive and kinsect. If the slash connects, you will perform a vaulting dance, absorbing extract. Cool. However, once you absorbed red extract with kinsect slash, you won't be able to absorb any other extract with it, but you'll be able to perform an enhanced insect spiker as a trade-off. So with kinsect slash, you can use it to attack with the kinsect, and it'll get the extract. If you get the orange nor white, you can do that, but if you get the red, you'll not be able to get any other extract, but you'll do a special attack instead. This is cool. If you have the red extract, the attack just completely changes and does, it doesn't, it's not just an attack, it'll get an additional attack. I'm interested, and I play a bit of insect glaive, so hell yeah. Now this. I want to make this a play style. Awakened Kinsect attack. This one. A technique where you hurl a Kinsect to inflict massive damage. How massive it could be, we don't know. Is throwing this Kinsect. Will it deal a few hundred damage or a few 500 damage? We'll never know. But yeah, one thing in Iceborne, which I did a lot, was use elemental Kinsects to just keep throwing it at the monster and dealing a very decent high elemental damage to just kill elder dragons with only the Kinsect. I've done that before, so it's kind of like if that playstyle was like a machine gun to an elder dragon. This is like a bazooka, I am imagining, because the description. Let's keep reading. All extracts are consumed, and the more extract you have, the more potent this attack will be. After launching the Kinsect, you will close in using a wire bug, simultaneously absorbing extract, marking the target, and then chaining into a vaulting dance. So you throw a monster, you wire bug, you get close to the monster, and then you do the vaulting dance, the aerial attack, right? You do that too. So some people call it some people call it the Kinsect spike, magnet spike kind of attack, and it does look similar. So yeah, but this attack consumes all of the extract that you had, so it's a bit of a hassle of attack. So I'm sure it's that powerful. It does say massive damage, and I hope it does massive damage. So yeah, a new playstyle. You throw your Kinsect at people, or not people, but monsters. Oh, that is cool. So yeah. Now, for the last couple of melee weapons, let's go. Gunlance. Oh, also the Gunlance. I've used it a lot in World, and only in World, not Iceborne. I never touched the Gunlance after Iceborne because of the tedious Wyvern Stake Blast thing that you had to stick to the monster. That was too tedious, and it was just ruining my hunts. I just didn't want to do that, so I never played the Gunlance in Iceborne. So, but in Rise, they put the Blast Dash in, and that just made my day. So I play a lot of Gunlance now, and this I watched Rurikon's video. He does Monster Hunter content and some other like, Final Fantasy content. He talked about the gun lance switch skills, and yeah, you can watch his videos. But yeah, so we have here is erupting cannon. This technique involves firing an exploding stick into your target. When using the eruption cannon, the tip of the gun lance heats up and slashing attacks are enhanced for a certain period of time. Now, what this implies, a couple of things. Either it's kind of like the heat gauge, essentially. You have to keep, or some kind of extra buff. You have to put your gun lance. You have to maintain this buff to deal, normal damage, because maybe it's gonna get nerfed. That's what Rurikon said, and I don't want that to happen. Please, just make it so it's just the optional buff you can put if you want to. It just flat out increases your gun lance's damage, and it's not a thing that you have to keep reapplying to deal normal damage because it was nerfed. Don't do that. Don't, Capcom, don't do that. And then we have here Bullet Barrage. This is also another playstyle that I'm probably going to be doing. I'm just going to be spamming this attack over and over again. So Bullet Barrage uses a wire bug to blast dash towards your target, unleashing everything with abandon. Pretty much it's an all-out offense. I don't care what happens to me afterwards. Blast dash to the monster. Unload everything into that monster. Everything. Kaboom. Be careful. Shells, Wyvern Stake, Cannon, and Wyvern's Fire will automatically be reloaded first before performing the attack. So if anything is not loaded, like ammunition or Wyvern Stake or Wyvern Fire is not on cooldown, it will finish all of those. We reload everything before you can use this. So if some of it isn't cooldown, then you have to check your timing on using this attack, because it might make you get hit. It probably is going to be an opening for you, so you might get hit. So. Okay, last of the melee weapons that is announced or shown with new switch skills. It came out today, the longsword, and you heard the parry of this one's dying. Let's just go through it. Sacred Sheath combo, a slow, methodical movement that can be executed from following an attack. Upon sheathing your weapon, you can harness the increased spirit to unleash a follow-up slash. The power of the slash increases according to the level of the spirit gauge. If you are attacked before you have finished with the sheath, it will consume one level of spirit gauge and the move will be cancelled. I've seen it. Looks pretty flashy, but it looks like you'll have a lot of openings to get hit, so we shall see. Next, Harvest Moon. This is a literal anime move. I just swear to God. Reminds me of that one character in Hunter x Hunter, the one that has a member of the, what was it called? The Phantom Troop. Hanzo, I forgot his name, but yeah, he had the katana, and he literally had the same thing. If you go into this area, you're gonna get effed up. It gives the same vibes. A move that casts out an iron silk ring that narrows your range of attack. That boosts spirit, so you can go on the offensive. Does this mean your spirit gauge doesn't go out, even if you use it up, or does it keep filling up? I don't know. Within the ring, your spirit gauge won't deplete. Oh, it does. And if you perform any counterattacks, it will add additional hits. So it's literally that character from Hunter x Hunter. You get in, you will get countered, and you'll be dealt with. It's anime. Anime moves, man. Holy crap. So that's the longsword, and that's all of the, for now, melee weapons that's out. Now, for the ranged weapons, there's two. start with the bow. The bow. Let's see this. Stake thrust. If I remember, this replaces the normal like melee attack that the bow does with the arrow on the hand, and you just slice. Replaces that with this one. An attack that thrusts an explosive stake into your target. Where did you get this? Stake. Explosive stake from Gunlance user. You just stole this. Just kidding. A stake reacts to follow-up attacks, dealing extra damage on the target. The amount of extra damage dealt is determined by type of arrow used. So, if you have close range coating or power coating, it will change the damage. Cool. But in the video, it also looked like it can deal KO damage. Need to rewatch it to confirm. But yeah, it's the Wyvern Stake Blast, but on bow. Next, Butcher's Bind. Fires an arrow loaded with iron silk. The follow-up arrow lands on the same spot as the first. Iron silk winds around both arrows, inflicting severing damage. If the second arrow is off target, the lodged arrow disappears. So precision type, switch skill. But with this, you can now much more easily cut tails with monsters. Good on you, bow. Good on you. Got you. Now, this one. For farming monsters, this is probably going to be the meta. Again, heavy bowgun. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to read this one first. Setting Sun. This switch skill, a silk bind technique in which a wire bug generates a ring of iron silk. Special powder accumulates within the ring, and when ammo passes through it, the velocity of the ammo is decreased. Firing piercing ammo / multi-hit ammo through the ring will boost the total number of hits upon impact. Meaning, pierce ammo, pierce elemental pierce ammo, and probably slicing ammo will have its total number of hits increase when you shoot it through this ring. Cool. But combined with this, crouching shot. Siege mode is back. It's back. A style of shooting that utilizes a special stance to reduce recoil in exchange for not being able to move. Yeah, you'll be able to fire in rapid succession. The longer you fire, the shorter the firing intervals become, but at the risk of overheating your bowgun. If your bowgun overheats, it can't be fired until it has cooled down. Note, certain ammo types can't be used. I wonder what that could be. But, yeah. My opinion, if you're going to be farming some monsters, this is going to be the setup. You use these two silkbind moves, or switch skills, to just decimate a monster in seconds. 4-man group. Crouching shot with setting sun. All of you combined, firing at monster. It's going to be ridiculous. Oh boy. I've been recording for 44 minutes. Jesus. But yeah, I think I've talked about every one of these. Let's reread it again before my phone dies. The great sword, yes. Long sword, sword and shield, lance, gun lance, hammer, hunting horn, switch axe, charge blade, insect glaive, heavy bowgun, and bow. So, there's still 2 left. Dual blades and light bowgun. But we saw a glimpse of it in one of the trailers. But yeah, what do you guys' opinion? What do you think of these videos showing the switch skills? Did did they make you more hype to use the weapons, or other weapons when you saw it, it's like, yeah, I'm still not gonna use this because it looks pretty shiny. But you know, I am a person that uses every weapon in the game, so I'm excited for every weapon, even though it's not that flashy. Technically, it might be really good. So, hope you guys enjoyed. It's just me nerding out on this topic on Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and I think I'm gonna be sleeping now. And I hope I wasn't that loud nerding out. I'm trying to whisper, but hope guys, I see you next time on the video. Ooh, I can't wait for Sunbreak. I'll just see you guys next time.